Today on LRSU, we've got the opportunity to do a quick review of two of the most prominent aftermarket saddle-style cheek rests that I see members of our group put on their rifles to achieve a more favorable eye relief and comfortable position on a rifle that doesn't come standard with an adjustable cheek piece. Now, a lot of the higher-end chassis, even like the Manners stocks, the Macmillan stocks, and so forth, have options to get an adjustable cheek piece, but oftentimes it can be hundreds of dollars to get into, and a lot of guys just don't have that kind of money to spend on a stock and want to take the current stock they have and still add the comfort and improved sight alignment and the eye relief with their scope by just adding one of these inexpensive saddle style cheek rests. So the two that we're comparing today are on the left, the Southwest Precision cheek rest, and on the right, the Matthews Sleek rest. Now, both of these have ties to Long Range Shooters of Utah, so it's kind of neat that we can do this review. The Southwest Precision is one that a lot of guys within the group use. It's very inexpensive, as is the Matthews. Both of them run between $30 and $40. Very, very easy to install. You literally drill a couple of holes through your stock, run the bolts through, hook them on, tighten the bolts down, and you're done. You've got an adjustable cheek piece. So what I want to do is go through and just compare the two, what they come with, whether they're interchangeable or not, and just kind of compare the two a little bit so you can have a little bit to go off of if you're going to decide between one of these two. So I'm going to start out with the Southwest Precision cheek rest. This is actually the first one that I got. I ordered this directly from, I believe it's Bob that owns Southwest Precision. They do a lot of things over there. They do custom rifles and slings and other things. He's been very good to our group and donating some of these to some of the matches that we run, and has been really great to work with. These run, I believe, there's two different kits. There's a $35 kit and a $37 kit. This represents the cheaper of the two. The big difference between them is that the other kit has a few more attachment options and different things like that. This one is the basic one, and it works great. He suggested that I just get this one, and it's worked great. So this is the instructions that you get with the kit. You can pick up his kits from swpcustom.com, and it gives you instructions on everything that's included. You have the Kydex cheek rest itself. You've got your round head retainer bolt. You've got your neoprene rubber piece that goes on top, which I have right over here. This is a little piece of neoprene foam you can put on top to make it a little more comfortable. And it also comes with a drill bit, which is a nice little feature. I've got that right here as well. Comes with this drill bit. Okay, so that's kind of nice. And then it goes to the installation instructions. Very easy. I've made a video about this you can check out. I believe the installation instructions are pretty much identical between the two kits. Essentially, you're going to mark off, where you're going to want to put your holes. Make sure that's in the correct position. It allows your bolt to be opened and removed, and without having to take off the cheek rest itself. And you drill a couple of holes through there of the proper diameter in the right place, and run the bolts through and tighten them on. That's it. Very, very simple. Takes a couple of minutes. So let's go through the kit itself. This is once again the Southwest Precision kit. It does come with this piece of neoprene or foam that you can glue onto the top if you want. This is the actual saddle style cheek rest itself. This is very well made. You can tell that the cuts are maybe CNC'd or something. It's got a nice, circular end to the cut. It looks very clean. The outsides as well are the same. It has a uniform shape all the way around, so both sides are identical. Okay. And as you compare it to the size of the Matthews is a little bit smaller. Okay. And also it's thinner, as you'll see in a second. The rest that comes with this kit, you've got two black bolts, you've got your drill bit, you've got two washers, and then you've got your nuts. This is the one big difference, I think, between the two kits. These are really nice, knurled. It's got some knurling there for grip. Trying to get it to focus. Really nice low profile nut. The Matthews kit comes with a much larger nut. I could see this as being an advantage and maybe being a little easier to put on and take off. You could tighten it down a little bit better than these. These do kind of maybe rough up your fingers a little bit when you're trying to tighten it on really firm. But I could also see how someone may not like these particular nuts just because they're so much larger. Typically, you're going to put this side of the cheek rest on the other side of the opposite side of where your face is going to be, so it doesn't really get in the way. But these are a little bigger, a little bulkier, as you can see, but not by a ton. If we look at it from the side view, you can see they are quite a bit thicker. Okay, and then of course it does come with 2 bolts. They're almost identical to the Southwest Precision, but they are silver instead of black. Not a big deal. So now if we go through the Matthews Sleek Rest, you've got the rest obviously itself. You'll notice that the cuts are square rather than be rounding at the end, but the outer finish of this is very, very clean and nice. It does have a little bit different shape and design. As you can see, it's not exactly symmetric one side to the other. This side is a little bit cut a little bit different than the other side. And he does have different designs. This particular one is called the Bell & Carlson, but he has others as well that are shaped a little bit differently depending on the application. And you can see some of these here. So he's got this bear paw. That's for guys that have bigger hands apparently. And then you have another one up here. I believe that's the one that I have. But he's got his instructions on here, everything that's included. You can see you can get his products at matthewsfabrication.com. And there's even the phone number for it right there. So you can call up Matt. He'll take good care of you. He was gracious enough to send this to us to do a review. He knows Southwest Precision very, very well. They both sell on eBay, I believe. And he was very interested to see what a comparison would look like between the two as well. So let's look at the 2 pieces right up close. So hopefully this view allows you to see the difference between the 2 cheek rests. It's pretty obvious that the Southwest Precision is considerably thicker. If I take my calipers, look at this, you can see that the Matthews Sleek is approximately 0.113 inches thick, whereas the Southwest Precision is 0.182. If you look at those up close, side by side, you can see there's quite a significant difference between the 2. This one being the Southwest Precision, this one being the Matthews. All right. And then of course from a length standpoint, looks to be, I don't know, what's that? Maybe, I don't know, I'd estimate 1/4 of an inch or so shorter. And then width-wise, looks to be that they're very, very close. The Southwest might be a little bit skinnier. And of course that's going to flex as you install it on your rifle. So there's a side-by-side comparison of the 2. Now let's throw them on my rifle and see what they look like. One big question that I've seen a lot of people ask is, are these interchangeable? If I already have a gun drilled for one, can I swap out and do the other? I was under the impression that you cannot. However, what I've found by looking at my own rifle is it looks like you can. So all you do is put it over there where your holes are, punch your bolts through like this. I'm not going to worry about putting all the washers and everything on there, but this is essentially all you need to do. So one thing that I didn't notice until I did the review here is, we talked about the lower profile nature of the Southwest Precision nuts, but the funny thing is the bolts stick out a solid, more than 1/4 inch right there. So, does the low profile really matter that much? I don't know. You can see that a little better now. So those are sticking out pretty far. I mean, it's the width of my pinky there. So, is it a big difference? Who knows? Let's pop on the other one now. So being those are so low profile, they are a little bit difficult to get in there and grab. But normally once you put this thing on there, you're not going to be moving it around a ton. At least I haven't. So we'll take that off, slide it out. We'll go ahead and put on the Matthews. looks like it's slightly different. I can't quite get the bolt through on the back side. So it looks like they're just ever so different. I mean, barely, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Or maybe I just drilled my holes screwy, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like they're just ever so different, just enough that I can't quite get that in there without really messing with it. Yeah, it's not going to budge, I'm not going to force it. But you get the idea. You can see if I can thread a bolt here. It's kind of hard to turn. Hopefully I'm not stripping it. So there's that. So I guess I was wrong. They don't fit quite exactly the same. I'm not sure if that's a good thing from their standpoint or not such a good thing. I guess if you have a rifle already drilled for one, you got to keep buying them. Or if you want to elongate one of the holes, you could certainly do that. I don't think it would affect it a whole lot. But there you can see the Matthews on the rifle. And that is stiff. And you can adjust the height, screw it in the rest of the way. And there you go. So as you can see, that nut does stick out about the same if you take into account the bolt sticking up. But the rest is a little bit more low profile than the Southwest Precision. So to conclude the review, I want to go ahead and first of all thank Southwest Precision and Matthews Sleek Rest for allowing us to do the review of these two items. I think both are very, very good. I think both are worthy of your purchase and to utilize in competition and, you know, on your hunting rifles and so forth. I told both that I would be very brutally honest, even, you know, with the appreciation I have for them donating this, and both agreed that, hey, that's fine, please do, we want to improve the product if we can. So here's my honest to goodness assessment. I think both are good. Me personally, if I were going to make a decision, I would probably go with the Southwest Precision, simply because they're both priced almost exactly the same. And the Southwest Precision seems to come with more items, first of all, more options, and it does seem to be built heavier duty, and the cuts on where the bolts go through the cheek rest itself seem to be cut very, very cleanly. The fit and finish on both items is very good, but I would have to give it to Southwest Precision for being just a little bit more, probably because they're using a CNC machine to do so. Also, the fact that they have the black bolts versus the silver, it just matches the whole set better. You get the higher end knurled, low profile knobs, which is nice. You also get the drill bit. You do get the foam rubber or the neoprene piece for the top. I would like to see them maybe send a little packet of glue where you can put it on there rather than just suggesting that you go get some. That's a pretty small thing though, not a big deal. The instructions for their product is good. It's got a good list on the front of what you need to do, and then on the back you've got pictures of how to install the product, which is nice. Moving over to the Sleek Rest, the Matthews Sleek Rest. The fit and finish on this is also very good. I mean, I'm being very nitpicky here. The only thing that maybe I see, like I said, as an advantage is just these cuts here are made slightly rougher than these are, which are extremely clean. Like I said, they look like they were CNC machined. The other downside, you're just not getting quite as much, as you can see. The quality of the knobs doesn't seem to be quite as good. I mean, it's not an aluminum knurled low profile knob. It's a fairly generic plastic knob. The one advantage I see there is if you're a guy with big hands, then using that larger plastic knob is probably going to be beneficial. Also, it does cover up the remainder of the bolt that sticks out. After I made the comment about the Southwest Precision, the bolt sticking out of that low profile nut. I read on the instructions here, it does say right at the bottom that you can go ahead and trim the bolts to length if necessary. Now, I wouldn't necessarily know how to do that. I would be worried about jacking up the threads or cutting it improperly with some hacksaw or something. So it would have been nice to see some instructions on the best ways to do that and not mess up the threads. But that's really the only bit of criticism I have for that kit. The Matthews, I'd like to see black bolts. I'd like to see, figure out why the nuts were kind of tough to screw on. Maybe it was just because of the first time that I've done it. And also, I think I like a little bit the heavier duty nature of the Southwest. However, if I'm going for just sheer lightest thing I can possibly have on a hunting rifle, then the Matthews wins hands down. It's much thinner. I don't know actually how much less it weighs, but it clearly is a lot lighter weight, system. So that's the review. I really appreciate everybody that donated these items for us to review, and be happy to use either one on any of my rifles. Thanks for watching.